Can I ask about two statements from the Welsh Government, please? First one is actually based a bit, I think it's a nice easy one for the Health Minister. Over the weekend we saw the news that the NHS England are looking at trials for using MRIs for scanning for prostate cancer. Clearly the means of identifying prostate cancer quicker and sooner because it's greater sort of cause for sort of appreciation of individuals that they will get caught earlier, because over 6,000 a year are identified in late stages in prostate cancer, and over 11,000 die each year of prostate cancer across the UK. So any means we can have of addressing that as an early diagnosis is going to be acceptable. But scans using MRIs mean we need MRI scanners, we need radiographers who are trained in MRI scanners, and we need radiologists who can actually understand the outcomes of the scans. Now, we need to put those into place, because the MRI scanners we have today are fully utilised and are being used. And therefore, if we can talk about scanning people, where we fit them into the current schedules. So we need to make sure we have a plan in place. So can the Minister come forward with a plan as to how he intends to look at radiological services across Wales to ensure that as this approach comes forward, and once it's been approved, that it actually does give us the outcomes we want, we are in a position to go straight into that and not have to wait as we look at funding for new scanners. On the second statement, could I have a statement from the Minister for Economy and Transport in relation to the ownership of various structures, including tunnels, that are currently in the ownership of the Department of Transport? I understand Highways England actually manages many of those structures in Wales on behalf of Highways, of the Department of Transport, and I include the Rhondda Tunnel in one of those, and obviously other tunnels are included. We've asked many times about the ownership of coming to the Welsh Government, but I understand the management contract for those expires next year. And therefore, there will be an opportunity next year when Department of Transport contract with Highways England ends to look at the ownership of these tunnels and other structures, which are in Wales. They belong here, but they'll be managed by the Department of Transport. Is it now time to have a statement to actually say what actions the Welsh Government will take to take those into ownership? Because that also addresses a very major question. If we want to do something with them, we need to have the funding. And we can't get the funding until we have the ownership, so that the liabilities come here. So it is crucial. Things are on hold as a consequence of not us having that ownership here in Wales.
Thank you for raising both of those issues. I was able to provide a brief update to colleagues on the MRI and prostate cancer issue just a couple of weeks ago in the plenary session during the business statement, but I'll certainly ask the Health Minister to provide you with a more detailed update, which would also include more information about our plans for radiography services in the round. On the matter of those structures which are currently managed and owned by the Department for Transport, but which exist in Wales, such as the Rhondda Tunnel, I do think there is certainly potential for us to maximise those resources. Certainly, I think that plans for the Rhondda Tunnel is particularly exciting. Obviously, we'd have to undertake some assessment in terms of the risk that we would be taking on were we to take on new assets, and explore whether there should be additional funding which comes alongside that from the UK Government. But perhaps if you were to write to the Economy Minister outlining your particular areas of interest, he'll be able to provide you with further detail.